We don't edit any videos. We just go
live.
Yeah, we just go live. So, wanted to make a second video of two dudes driving in the car. We're talking about hand sanitizer. Only this time, my wife mocked me so bad for doing all the talking last night. My wife she was just brutal. She just said, "You talk the whole time." She started singing COCKY. So, we actually have to have Kevin talk.
I made a cameo appearance in the last video, and I don't know if it made it in the credits. But
it's true. So, Kevin.
Yes.
What do you think about the hand sanitizer projects and what's going on? Like, give your opinion.
So, it's interesting to me to see the supply chain issues, mostly, I would say. You're seeing, the product is readily available for the most part. Different styles, different consistencies, I guess.
You want to talk about the two styles?
The two styles. You have the liquid. The liquid, it's more of a watery type that works great if you're spritzing it with a sprayer or maybe even just a little bit of a dispenser with a drip cap. But it doesn't work great in a pump. It just splashes everywhere. And then you have the gel, and the gel seems to be a little more sought after. It seems like it leaves your hands a little bit nicer, actually.
Doesn't dry out.
Doesn't dry you out. Yeah, there's some type of moisturizer in there. I don't know. You probably know the chemical composition better than I.
But you were talking about the supply chain.
Sorry,
so that's what's interesting. Go.
Yeah. So, what's interesting is you have the product, but the containers that get it down to the retail level, the shortage of them is kind of amazing. Like containers, and I guess the new technical term is closures. That could be a flip cap, it could be a regular cap, it could be a pump or a spritzer sprayer thing, and just being able to get those in quantity seems to be the quote unquote bottleneck. What are your thoughts on that, Nate?
Well, yeah, there's just no caps, there's no bottles. I mean, if you can find, I think the smart people that are either manufacturers reps or distributors are really validating who's legit. The young, eager sales reps out there ready to sell caps and bottles to everybody, but I think as fast as this whole thing came, it's almost probably going to leave. So I think the smart suppliers are looking for a long-term vendor, and if you can show them, hey, we're going to be around a while. We're going to be a maple syrup company for another 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I think leveraging that and making sure that your suppliers know that you're legit is important.
And I wonder how much of most, like if you look at the power grid, you're looking at hand sanitizers right now as a commodity, not as a nice to have, wish you had kind of thing. It's like every industry is going to need it for their employees, for any customers that come in and out of the building or facility. You're going to see it in any recreational or entertainment venue, whether it's sports, movie theater, whatever, restaurants. It's almost a commodity, just like electricity. So electricity, I think you have the base load, which are your coal plants, your nuke plants. They generate most of your power. And then you have your peaking stations that run on natural gas, or they run on oil, or what have you.
But they only come on.
They only come on when demand hits high.
This has been your best analogy ever.
You think?
Oh yeah, your peak load, peak demand.
Peak demand. So you're looking at peaking, and I think that's where you take these heavy manufacturers that have the battleships, the aircraft carriers, like Procter & Gamble, Gojo Industries. Those guys are going to annihilate. They're the base load. Mm-hmm. But then you have the nimble little destroyers, little cruisers out there that can, ramp up with a universal bottling line. Whereas I'm assuming some of the bigger companies have dedicated bottling lines to a product.
So it runs so fast you can't even. It looks like one bottle.
Yep.
It's not even moving.
Yeah, they're putting out thousands an hour
per second.
Yeah. Who knows? They're just astronomical numbers. And
so we're like the peak load station.
Yeah, we're like a peaking station for the high demand. Being able to switch between gallons and 8 ounce and 16
1
ounce,
2 ounce,
or whatever. Yeah. So we have the versatility, we have the nimbleness. Are we going to put out the quantity that they put out?
Nope.
No. But can we meet a peak demand, and other, for other.
We
size
will
models.
have the best, like music, like our music selection. I know we can beat everybody in that. Like our what do you call it when you have a movie and then there's a soundtrack?
The soundtrack.
The Bissell Maple Farm soundtrack.
Yeah.
Nobody's beating us there.
No, this is true. That's true. I think that's why everybody keeps coming back every
I
day.
think so. And free hand sanitizer.
That's true. That's true.
So what else are you seeing? Like, this has been quick, right? So we almost haven't had a chance to digest it. So when you first heard about this, what was your thought? The hand sanitizer.
First thought was like, how's this going to work? And then you look at the safety aspect of things, and how are you going to manage a totally different product? You're used to dealing with a thick, sticky, gooey, high. I wouldn't say high. It's a highly technical product, syrup, right? You've got
which one do you think's more complex?
Syrup. Hand sanitizer seems like a breeze, other than dealing with the venting issues and keeping good airflow, good circulation, grounding things, running converting pump motors over to microamps, all that fun stuff. So that's different. You don't have to worry about a flammable instant with maple syrup.
So you're saying maple syrup might have prepared us for this?
Oh, I think that's definitely the case. It's a complicated project. This is not as complicated. The actual process, getting ready for it, is a little more complicated. All the welding of venting.
So when it first came out, you're like, okay, let's evaluate it. Then, we're talking 2 weeks here. So it was like, okay, there's an opportunity, evaluate it. What do you think about like the massive, like, hey, we need 3 million bottles. Hey, the deal fell through. Like, what does that feel like to you when you get these roller coaster, like, oh, we need 500,000 gallons. How fast can you get it? And then deal falls through. Like, what is that? How do you feel?
It's interesting because you seem like you need to put a lot of energy into getting ready for that. And then it's like anything else. I don't know if you get numb to it, or if you kind of get used to it, or you think, there's another one right around the corner, So
I mean, you've seen it.
I've seen it
with Jess. She looks at this opportunity. She's helping me, and then it's huge. We have all these calls, all these meetings, and the deal fell through. Somebody else promised they could do it in, we said 8 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks, and we lose the opportunity because somebody said they can do it in 3 to 4 weeks. And
right.
Whether they can or can't, my experience in sales is usually, even if they can't do it, like, there's no penalty.
Right.
So we're honest, and we feel like we're trying to under-promise and over-deliver, but we feel like in this market there's so many unscrupulous companies just making these vast, crazy, oh yeah, you need 500,000 gallons, we can do that. What, you need it by lunch?
Yeah.
And we're like, well, it'll take us a little bit of time, and I don't know. I was curious what you thought of that, up and down.
It is interesting in some conversations, and knowing some of the stuff that you've been dealing with, as far as some of the distributors who've been receiving or have put out POs to receive product several weeks ago, was promised it by a certain date, and it didn't deliver.
Right.
And
so
they're still waiting on it.
So you bring up 2 good points. What else do you know about the supply chain and terms?
Yeah, exactly. So you have a declaration of a national emergency. So that kind of throws the monkey wrench into most contracts where, there's no penalty if you don't deliver. Right?
What about like payment up front? Like everybody's.
Oh yeah, that's
nothing shipping unless it's getting paid for up front.
Yeah,
that's bottles, that's caps, that's like everything to do with hand sanitizer. People are saying, well, I'm not shipping you ethanol to make that hand sanitizer until I get the money ACH wired in my account.
Yep, exactly.
I've never seen this.
Right. There's no terms. There's no.
Yeah, I've been dealing with you. I mean, if you have a good relationship, like our relationship is really good with our packager. He's been dealing with us for years. He knows that we're good for it, so he hasn't made those demands. But the cap companies, we're out there looking for caps that we haven't really looked for before. They don't know us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the whole supply chain on everything from label backers, containers, corrugated, whether it's a box or the divider. I mean, everything's like You know.
What do you think's going to happen? Do you feel like it's just going to get saturated because you got half the people? Like, there's different camps. Some people think it's just going to go away. It's going to be saturated.
Well, you look at the, I mean, I have talked from personal experiences. I mean, that's the only thing I have to draw from. I haven't really developed an opinion based on a life in the industry, so to speak. So everything's kind of based on what I've seen. So you look at 22 ammo back in 2012. I'm a 4-H shooting sports advisor. So we had to curtail shooting because there was just no availability of 22 ammo. So what do I see?
You're talking about bullets.
Bullets.
Okay.
Yeah, 22 ammo.
For us commoners.
For us commoners.
Okay.
For you commoners. Yeah, I'm talking about completed rounds of ammunition.
22 caliber bullets.
22 long rifle.
Okay.
And you cannot sell, or you cannot easily reload this. They make these little trinket kits that you could make if you want, but they're, for all feasibility, you just can't do it. The problem was with that is
this when there was a big run on it?
There was a big run on it. There was some political end to it, and people were panicking. And
when you say long, that's not like the little 22 bullets long, or
no, they're the same. They
like
go,
when I was shooting my dad's 22 growing up, that was long.
Likely long rifle.
Okay.
Likely they have long rifle, long and shorts.
Gotcha. Shorts are more like for bird shots.
Yeah, shorts are just a shorter container, and I won't get into the specs on it. But
okay. Anyway, bullets were in
very short supply.
Short supply, and that created
a panic, and you sort of see it now. You know, panic buying. But the thing is not anybody could ramp up for that. So what I find interesting in there, you couldn't find too many small, nimble companies that could ramp up for 22. It's the priming compound super intricate.
So the barrier to entry was really big. Machining, experience, all sorts of things. Right?
And so the companies didn't do it. They just let it run on its own. They let the market kind of figure out, and it took 4 or 5 years. So I guess all of this to say,
what happened?
What happened that caused
it?
Yeah,
no. What was the result at the end of the 4 or 5 years?
You'd start seeing it. People were buying it and reselling it, and you just saw, people were camped out people were following UPS trucks around to buy it from the gun dealers as it would show up.
No kidding.
So that's how crazy it got with 22. It just was no supply of it. So
this is a little different because the barrier entry really is lower.
It's a little lower, right?
You need a bottling facility. You need people that understand packaging.
Do you think it's really lower though? I mean, it is lower than a 22 ammunition line, that's for sure.
Right.
But
it feels lower because anybody that's got a micro distillery and a tank and a valve can fill it. I guess
they can make the product. How do they get it in the bottle?
With their little tanks and their little valve. I mean,
how do they get tanker load? How do they fill a semi?
So they can't really do.
Right.
It's there's more people that can do it, but they're all doing less.
Right.
It's almost like dairy farming. It used to be everybody in the county was a dairy farmer, and they all they're making more milk today in Ashtabula County with way less, right? Aren't they making more?
Fewer farms, that's for sure.
Yeah, fewer farms. So I guess we're like the bigger, we can handle more. We're not huge, but I'm just looking at a lot of people can do it on a small scale.
Right. We're definitely like one of the larger peaking stations in the electric grid.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So we can put some product out.
So I guess it is a good comparison because you said you can make reloading on 22, but it's kind of cumbersome. And it really won't add to the volume.
Right, it wouldn't. Right.
So those people that have a micro distiller that are doing small, they're not really adding to the overall supply.
Yeah, they're able to take care of a few small businesses probably in the area and some families and that kind of thing, and maybe a municipality.
But they're really not doing So I think you and I have been talking about when Ohio State University opens up this fall, NFL football games and baseball. How many baseball games are there? 162 baseball games a year per team. What are they going to do for sanitizer at each MLB sporting event?
Are you counting all the little feeder teams that feed into it?
Like the minor league. Yeah. What are they going to? The thing is, there's not as many people in those stadiums. Mm-hmm. When you have 40,000 people coming in and out of a facility, you're not going to keep the NFL, baseball. It's going to happen. People are just going to get sick of this, and they're going to want to watch something. NASCAR started, right?
Right.
With no one in the stadium,
and then they're going to want to be prudent if they go. I mean, whether it is or isn't what they say, whether the numbers are or what they aren't, I mean, it doesn't matter. The reality is there's policies and regulations in place through the health departments that and
states are mandating people to have it available at the door, right?
Yep. If you own a business and people want to come in, you got to have it. You know,
it's almost like pure drinking water, and then having bathrooms that go to the right place.
Exactly.
You're going to have so many bathrooms. You're going to have so many dispensers of hand sanitizer.
Sanitizing stations for so many people probably, and it's probably going to carry on for a while. So
as you've talked to people even outside of Bissell Maple Farm, is there some preconceived notions or like falsehoods that are going around about hand sanitizer? Have you had to correct anybody where it's like, well, that's not really true?
I think some people didn't think it was really all that available. I mean, I've heard people saying, "Oh, they'll trade some hand sanitizer for a fishing charter,
for some ammunition,"
that too. I mean, you know, that's a possibility too. But
so the perception is because it's not in a store, it's not available,
right? And you know, if you want to take a tanker load, you know, if you could take a tanker load, you can get it all day long.
So are we? We'll wrap up because at least you and I should have averaged, right? With the last video, we're at 16 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I talked all 6 minutes last video.
Okay.
And I think you might have gotten 70% of this one.
I got a little bit in this time.
I think so.
Nate let me make the I guess would it be an accompanying role?
Oh, I'm the...
You're the cameo?
Yeah, well, not... What is it called?
The co-star.
Yes, I'm the co-star.
Like
You're the lead role. What do they give when they give those actors? Like, what was Morgan Freeman in Shawshank Redemption? He won best supporting actor.
Yep.
I'm best supporting actor this time.
All right, good job.
I wasn't hogging the whole thing.
All right.
Any other pieces of information or anything that you felt like, once I hogged the video yesterday, is there anything else?
Just the labor pool, trying to pull in, for the capacity.
That's awesome thing to talk about. Talk about that.
Yeah, the labor pool. I mean, what you're battling. I mean, you have. If you get these big orders, you're going to need to pull in people to do it.
And who are we pulling in?
Actually, we're going to be pulling in young college-age kids and even kids that are in high school right now.
And why are they more? Why do you think they're interested in?
Why? Because they don't have an employment history to be able to collect unemployment, and
they're not getting paid $600 extra a week.
Yeah, I mean, you're competing in the labor force. You're competing with Uncle Sam paying people $1,100 a week to stay home.
It's going to have the opposite effect.
It is,
of what
exactly.
The intent is.
Yep, it's
I'm impressed with the 16, 17, 18-year-olds, college age. They know this is important. They're actually a part of something that's really important for the country, and they're crushing it.
Yeah, they're hard.
And then they've got people that are 40 years old staying at home in their 30s. They have a work history, and there's no incentive to go back to work. I got news for you. These kids, these 17-year-olds, they're honing their skills, and they're going to come out and they're going to kick your butt because you're sitting at home. I just wanted to let you know.
No doubt. It's amazing. Like, it's funny because one of the kids was walking by. I won't say his last name, but Lucas walks by tonight, and are you tired tonight? He goes, no, it's only 5 o'clock. Why would I be tired? We usually go till 7.
They certainly have energy.
They do. So it's great to have them in, and
they're getting awesome experience,
and they're being part of opening the country. I mean, we're not like I don't know.
It's kind of patriotic.
I mean, the fact is, in order to open, you have to have a product.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to offer this product.
That's a great thing to talk about. The labor pool, who we're using,
right?
Who we're working with. Any other?
That's about all I can think of.
That's a great video. So this is really two dudes driving in a pickup truck talking about the hand sanitizer market.
Yeah. So
cool. You want to close it out?
Over and out.